No clicker. No clicker. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم أخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمنا بنور الفهم وافتح علينا بمعرفة العلم وسهل أخلاقنا بالحلم وجعلنا ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. اللهم اجعل أعمالنا خالصة لوجهك ولا تجعل فيها حظا لغيرك. وصل اللهم على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Today, Alhamdulillah, we continue with our Sarf bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. We have covered thus far the past tense and the present tense, both in terms of the ma'loom form, the active form, as well as the majhul form, the passive form. Last week we learned how to negate all of those forms. So instead of affirming that the action was done, we learned how to negate that. This week, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, if time permits us, that time is not right, eh? Huh? Okay. We'll try and get some headway with the command form of the verb. Right? From our scales that we've learnt, the command form of the verb, or the amr form. We've learned how to say fa'ala, he did. We've learned how to say yaf'alu, he is doing. We've learned how to say fu'ila, it was done to him, or something was done, or he was done upon. And we've learned how to say yuf'alu, he is being done upon. We've learned how to say ma fa'ala, he did not do. We learned how to say la yaf'alu, he is not doing. We learned how to say ma fu'ila, he was not done upon. And we learned how to say la yuf'alu, he is not being done upon. Today we want to learn how to say do. Hit, run. Okay, not hit. Run, help, listen. We want to learn how to command, the imperative. Right. So before we do that, let's just go over our skills quickly. Let's revise how to say. We learned how to say fa'ala, everybody, old faithful. Fa'ala. Fa'altu, fa'alna. Right, one more time. Fa'ala, fa'alu, fa'alat, fa'alna, fa'alta, fa'altum, fa'alti, fa'altunna, fa'altu, fa'alna. Right, present tense. He is doing. He is doing. Everybody. Yaf'alu, yaf'aluna. Taf'alu, yaf'alna. Taf'alu, taf'aluna. Taf'alina, taf'alna. Af'alu, naf'alu. Right. How do I say I am doing? Af'alu. How do I say I did? Fa'altu. Yeah, keep it fresh. Okay, passive form. Majhul. Let's say everybody say that for me. He was done upon. Fu'ila. Everybody. Fu'ila. Fu'ilu. Fu'ilat. Fu'ilna. Fu'ilta. Fu'iltum. Fu'ilti. Fu'iltunna. Fu'iltu. Fu'ilna. Right, and the present tense? He is being done upon. Everybody. Yuf'alu. Yuf'aluna. Tuf'alu. Yuf'alna. Tuf'alu. Tuf'aluna. Tuf'alina. Tuf'alna. Uf'alu. Nuf'alu. Again. He is being done upon. Right, everybody? Yuf'alu. Yuf'aluna. Tuf'alu. Yuf'alna. Tuf'alu. Tuf'aluna. تفعلين تفعلن أفعل نفعل. Right. Okay, just with a different set of root letters. He is being helped. He is, to help is what? Nasara. Right? How do I say, not he is helping, rather he is being helped. The action is being done to him. Yunsaru. So everybody say that scale for me. Yunsaru, yunsaruna. Tunsaru, yunsarna. Tunsaru, tunsaruna. Tunsarina. Unsaru, nunsaru. Okay. How do I say he is being heard? Sami'a means to hear. Sami'a means he is hearing. He is being heard. Yusma'u. Right. Okay. Okay, this is not a new concept. This was a last week's concept. I just didn't make a whole new slide. But anyways, what was the concept that we learned last week? How to negate, negation, right? Not to be confused with prohibition, which we're going to do after we engage with the amr. But for now, we look at affirmation or affirming a verb and then negating a verb. So how did we say? How do we negate a verb? So basically all that we've learnt before, those are verbs. Or in Arabic we call them muthbit. Everybody say it for me again? Muthbit. When a verb is muthbit, it's affirming something. And how do I identify a verb that is affirmative? We actually check that it's not negative. Right? How do we know that it's affirmative? We check that it's not negative. And how do we know that it's not negative? There's no ma or la before it. Right? There's two other ways of negation that we use, but we'll see that in due time as well. So basically, how do we negate the verbs? How do we go from saying he hit to he did not hit? We either add a ma or a la. When do we add ma before the verb? When it's a past tense verb. When do we add la before the verb? When it's a present tense verb. So how do I convert he hit to he did not hit? Ma daraba. Duriba. He was hit. How will that I convert that to say he was not hit? Ma duriba. How would I say yadribu, he is hitting? How would I convert that to he is not hitting? La yadribu. How would I convert yudrabu, he is being hit, to he is not being hit? La yudrabu. Right. And the same can be said for any other form of the if I say I am helping, how do I say I am helping? Nasara is the root letter, right? So how do I say I am helping? Nasara yansuru, ansuru. How do I say I am not helping? La ansuru. Okay, it's very simple. All that it comes down to is I need to identify, is it present tense or past tense? If it's past tense, I put a ma before it. If it's present tense, I put a la before it. Right. Okay, that was last week's concept. La used with present tense verbs, ma used with past tense verbs. And those actually formed other scales, but we don't need to go through all of it, right? So if I just want to negate, I can take the previous four scales that I've learned, Nasara, Yansuru, Nusira, Yunsaru, and then just put ma and las before them and then form a whole different scale. So traditionally it would be learnt where you say a scale, ma fa'ala, ma fa'ala, ma fa'alu, what? Okay, I'm ما فعل ما فعلوا ما فعلت ما فعلنا ما فعلت ما فعلتما. But there's no real need to actually learn a whole new scale. It's a concept. You just put a ma before it or a la before it based on whether it's past tense or present tense. Right. So we've learned thus far 3 different categories. All of the verbs that we've come across before this. Every verb is either past tense or present tense, either maldi or mudari. It's either ma'loom or majhul. It's either muthbit or manfi. So for every single verb that I come across, I must be able to say whether it's maldi or mudari', ma'loom or majhul, muthbit or manfi. It will be one of the two of each of these pairs. Right? For example, darabat. Darabat means what? She hit. Right? Maldi or mudari'? You must be able to give me one answer there. Maldi or mudari'? Not mudari'. Maldi, past tense. Ma'loom or majhul? Do I know who's doing it, or is it a passive form verb? It is ma'loom. We know who's doing it. She. Is it muthbit or manfi? Muthbit. Why? There's no ma or la before it. So I'm affirming did hit. Right? And similarly we can do for any other verb. Skip over that one. Ma darabta. What does that mean? You did not hit because of the ma that's there before. So for this verb as well, I can check for each of these qualities there, and it must be one from each of the pairs. Is it maldi or mudari'? Maldi. Remember, for it to be mudari', it must have a ya, ta, hamza or noon at the beginning. This doesn't, so it is maldi. Ma'loom or majhul? Ma'loom. Majhul always starts with a dhamma. Muthbit or manfi? Manfi, it has a ma before it. Right, okay, I'm just going to skip over this. Okay. So just quick recap. We had nahu and sarf, the whole thing, right? We said we're first going to look at kalimat, words. Words are either ism, fi'al or harf. In sarf we were just dealing with a fi'al. We categorized our verbs into two. The fi'alul madi broadly and the fi'alul mudari'. And then we added some categorizations within them. The categorization of ithbat and nafi. The categorization of ilm and jahl. So now we're going to add a third category of verbs. That is the amr. Al-fi'alul amr. Everybody say it for me. Again, al-fi'alul amr. What do you think that means? Al-fi'al, the verb, al-amr. Come on, that should actually be fi'alul amr, not al-fi'alul amr. Just fi'alul amr. The al must come away there. Right. Or it could be said like that actually. What does it mean? The imperative verb or the command verb? When you want to tell somebody something. Right. The others were just descriptive. They were saying something that had already happened or is happening, describing a state. This one here is now when you want to tell somebody to do something. For example, sit, study, persevere, sleep. How do we form this type of verb in the Arabic language? What have we been learning? All the time we said from the very beginning, standard form of verb, fa'ala. We're going to make some small change to it every week, and that's going to change the meaning. So we're not departing from that. We're still going to do that. We're going to carry on doing that today. We're going to take a verb that we've already learnt, change it a little bit, and that's going to change the meaning. So firstly, we need to know, when working with the command verb, when forming the command verb in the Arabic language, I only use the second person, or this manner of forming the command verb only applies to the second person form of the verb. Right? So I don't say sit to a person that's not in the conversation. Like I'm talking to my brother at home. Help, mommy, whatever. He's not here. He's not. I don't address him like that. There's a different way of doing that. Nor do I address a command to myself, the first person, in this way either. That's something we'll come across perhaps at a later stage. This manner of forming the command applies only to the second person. What's the second person? You. You, one male, you many males, you one female, you many females. I only use it in relation to that. Right? Secondly, from which type of verb do I form the command? I form the command from the mudari' form of the verb. The mudari' ma'loom. What form is that? Fa'ala is madi, mudari' is yaf'alu. So that's the present tense, right? I form it from the present tense scale. And this is specifically that part of the scale. Yaf'al, he is doing. Yaf'aluna, they, many males are doing. Still third person. Taf'alu, she is doing. Third person. Yaf'alna, still third person. They, many females are doing. So I'm not concerned with that. I'm only concerned with the second person. So what's that part of the scale? Taf'alu, you one male are doing. Or taf'aluna, you many males are doing. Or taf'alina, you one female are doing. Or taf'alna, you many females are doing. Right? So I only concern myself with that section of the scale forming the command verb. Everybody with me? Right. Okay. That's all that I'm thinking about. Now, how do I actually form it? Firstly, I take the verb that I want to convert into a command. We'll start off with our basic one. The most basic verb we have here is taf'alu. What does taf'alu mean? Taf'alu. Remember about third person, so we just forgo or forget about she is doing. So taf'alu means you who? You one male are doing. Right. Now I need to convert that to a command. How do I do that? I'm just going to show you. Taf'alu becomes if'al. Everybody say that for me. If'al. Again. Again? Okay. How do I translate if'al? Do. It's a command. Do. And who would be the doer of the action? Who am I directing my command to? Just as we derive from this verb over here, who was this addressing? Second person, masculine, singular. Right? So taf'alu meant you one male are doing. When I say if'al, it means you one male do. Our next verb is taf'alu, taf'aluna. Right. So how do I form the command from here? How do you think? Okay, at the beginning it's going to be, what did I change in the first one? The ta changes to a e. Okay, so what do you think is going to happen here? The same thing. Ifa. Now what's it going to be? It's going to be if'alu. If'alu. Two things changed there, right? Something changed at the beginning and something changed at the end. And this is the first instance that we come across this in Sarf with me. What happens? What happened at the end? The noon fell away. That alif there is actually a placeholder. You don't need to worry too much about it. The important thing here is that the noon fell away. Right? What does it if'alu mean? Okay, I just put it on the board by mistake now. What does it mean? It still means, but addressed to who? You many males. So for example, if I were talking to Amin over here and I wanted to tell Amin, do, I would tell him, if'al. But if I were talking to the entire section of males in the class, I would tell you guys, if'alu. Right? What am I showing you there? I choose which form of the command to use based on who I am addressing. Right? If it's a one person, then I use the singular form. If it's many people, I use the plural form. Okay. We had taf'alu, taf'aluna. Then who do we have next? Female. She one. Oh, sorry, you one female are doing. Taf'alina. And then after that? Taf'alna. Okay. So let's see. How do you think I'm going to form the command from taf'alina? If'ali. Again, what happens? The ta begins to a I, and the noon falls away. Right? So taf'alina becomes if'ali. What does it mean? It still just means, but it would mean do if I'm speaking to one female. I use it when I'm speaking to one female. What about taf'alna? If'alna. If I want to change taf'alna, too many females are doing, to you many females do. If'alna. Why? If'al. Now this one stays if'alna. Right? This one is if'alna. This noon can't fall away. I say, when you have one female there, you can still change it. But if it's many females, don't even bother trying. No, I'm just joking. Astaghfirullah, that's a sexist joke. I'm just joking. I'm not sexist, right? The reason why that noon can't fall away is because the other noons here, they are not an integral part of the verb. They signal the end of the verb, or its state as well. This noon here, it in and of itself shows you who the doer is. Therefore, that noon cannot fall away. It's different to this noon here. Who shows you who the doer is here? The oo sound. Like we had fa'alu, in yaf'aluna, it's the oo sound that shows you who the doer is. Similarly here, it's the e sound that shows you who the doer is. But here, it's the noon that shows you who the doer is. So therefore, this noon can't fall away. If this noon falls away, it's going to look exactly like if'al over here. Right? It's going to look like if'al over here. So this noon here is different to this noon here and different to that noon over here. Therefore, whenever we deal with the feminine plural, the noon at the end never falls away. When we're dealing with the noon at the end never falls away, because that noon is different to the other noons. Right? We call this here the noonun niswa, the noon of femininity. Right? Noonun niswa, the noon of femininity, that shows that it is a feminine plural. Right? Okay, let's look at it again. Take another verb. We have taf. How do you think I'm going to... Taftahu means what? Fataha means to open. Taftahu means you, one male, are opening. Right. How do you think I'm going to change this into a command? Instead of saying you, one male, are opening, I want to say to you, one male, open. Iftah. There we go. Taftahu becomes iftah. What do you think taftahuna is going to become? What's it going to be? Iftahu. There we go. What do you think taftahina is going to become? Iftahi. Perfect. And what do you think taftahna is going to become? Iftahna. Right. The verb. Tadribu. Daraba yadribu. Means to. Just look at this quickly and try and get a formula for ourselves. Get some steps for ourselves here. The first thing that we did is we made a change at the beginning, right? What change is that? Remember, it's the second person, present tense. It's always going to start with a ta. So the first thing I do is what? I drop the ta and I replace it with a yeah, that thing over there. We call it actually a hamza. Right? We call it a hamza. It's not a alif. For the others, if there's a noon at the end, we drop the noon. Except for the feminine plural, there we cannot drop the noon. Does everybody agree with me? Anything else change? You know, like you have hals in Nahu. You have raf, nasb, and jar. You have hals also for verbs. Right? But in Nahu you have raf with a dhamma, nasb with a fatha, and jar with a kasra. You don't have jar for verbs. In raf for a verb is with a dhamma, nasb for a verb is with a fatha, but you don't get a kasra for verbs, you only get a sukoon. You never found a hal in your nahu where you had sukoons at the end of the words, isn't it? No, right? It was either dhamma, fatha, or kasra, or one of its equivalents. Never where you purposely put a sukoon there. So similarly, or opposed to that actually, in sarf you either have a dhamma or a fatha, which we're still going to come across inshallah, or a sukoon, which we have over here. So I just want to do one more thing clear. That's the procedure. I just want to take one verb quickly. If you just give me a second. Sami'a yasma'u means to hear. Right. How would I change this into a command form? Sami'a yasma'u, tasma'u will become isma'. And make it into a scale for me if you want. Isma', isma'u, and then Isma'i and Isma'na. Isma, Isma'i, Isma, Isma'u, Isma'i, Isma'na. Right? Simple steps to fashioning a command verb. What I want you to do for homework is revise. I gave you a homework sheet. Right? Can I just have that sheet? I want you to fill in this sheet for me for homework. Right? You have another sheet as well. This sheet is just gives explanation. I don't want you to focus too much on this right now. Right? Don't worry about this yet. On this sheet over here, I want you to fill in all of the verbs, like create a scale over here for each of these verbs, but leave out nasara yansuru. Right? Just leave out this nasara yansuru, but you do all the rest of them for me, right? Okay. So that's what we're going to do for homework. What we've learned today is how to form the command. One more thing we need to learn about forming the command verb that relates to nasara yansuru. Many of you'll probably be able to figure it out by trying to say it yourself. But we'll look over that next week, inshallah. We'll revise what we've done and see what we have time for in terms of learning possibly the negation, or not negation, rather the prohibition next time. Instead of learning hit, we want to say don't hit.